Hi, this is John with The Evolving World. Today I'm doing a video on my Nissan Leaf and the cold weather and how it affects the battery capacity. So I noticed that my range has gone down in the wintertime. I've had the car for 2 winters now, and I definitely notice a noticeable difference between summer and winter. But I kind of tried to do a little research and try to find out, what is the actual percentage loss. I tried to find out, I've seen other people that have videos on, the range loss and such. People, they estimate how much they lose, but there's nothing that really says, how much do you actually lose per temperature, like over 10 degrees or 20 degrees, how much can you expect to lose? That way you can kind of calculate, because if you're trying to go 60 miles in a 60-mile car, but it's like, 50 degrees out versus 70, then, you might not make it. Like on a 70-degree day, you might make it, and on a 50-degree day, you probably won't. So anyway, last summer I noticed I got almost 70 miles per full charge, and I noticed in this winter time it's closer to like 56 driving the same type of road. Now of course it can vary, if you drive really slow, like 25, 30, 40 miles an hour, you probably still get 60, but then I might get 75 or something in the summertime. But I just noticed that was just a general median average kind of thing. So I've done a little research. I started to kind of just actually look at the actual numbers that I'm using. So the last time I fast charged, I noticed that I started at 14% and I ended up at 84%. So that's 70% of a charge, and that was 11.4 kilowatts. So that's how much energy I actually put in. And this was at 39 degrees Fahrenheit or 4 Celsius. And so based off of that, I kind of just made some adjustments. I usually don't undercharge the car anything more than 10%, or I never deplete the battery more than 10%, because that's better for the battery. So I figure. And then I also noticed that when I fully charge the car, that it actually charges to about 91% consistently. It doesn't matter if it's summertime or wintertime or anything. So this has nothing to do with cold weather. It's just the battery at the state that it's in right now, it only wants to charge to 91%. So that's kind of a mystery to me as to why that is. Maybe that's just something to do with keeping the battery safe in a safer level. Maybe not overcharge it, or at least not fully charge it. Maybe that helps the battery life. I don't know. But I noticed that consistently, it's anything between 88 and 93%, almost always 91%. So you already lose like 9%. You can't even fully charge the car. So that's kind of a factor. So I figured that all this works out to be, if I could charge the battery 100%, it would be 14.8 kilowatts in my current state, because my battery is at 73% right now, and 73% is about 17.5 kilowatts. However, I can only put in, based off my calculations, 14.8 kilowatts. So basically there's a 2.7 kilowatt discrepancy there. So where did all that energy go? And I can only attribute it to just cold weather. It must be cold weather. That's the only thing it could be. So I did some math on that, and basically 2.7 times 4.5, that's how many miles I can go on a kilowatt. I typically get about, right here on the gauge here, it says, I do about 4.5 miles per kilowatt. So you can kind of get an idea. That works out to be about 12.2 miles, and that's pretty consistent for what I was doing last year when I was driving, before I had all these numbers in my head and I just was driving the car. The first summer that I owned it, I noticed that, I was getting about 70-mile range, maybe 69, 68, and then in wintertime it's about 56, and so that happened to work out to be about 12 miles. So that seems to be an accurate number, looking at it from two different directions. So I think I got the number. It looks to me that, and this is over about a 35-degree temperature spread, 2.7 kilowatts works out to be about 16% loss of power, or loss of range, sorry. But it's not the motor. You know, the motor's equally efficient, 4.5 miles per kilowatt. It doesn't seem to matter if it's summertime or wintertime. That's my average according to the computer here. So the motor's efficient. It doesn't care if it's cold or hot. But the battery, that's something else. The battery just does not like the cold weather. It just doesn't have its capacity. It loses the capacity temporarily just due to cold weather. So that works out to be about 9% for every 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And I think that's a good number to work by. I mean, because it's actually good information to know, because, you know, if you're going to go 60 miles and you know you can make the trip in 70 degrees, you're probably not going to make it if it's 55 or 50, you know, because you're going to lose 9% on 20 degrees. So I think it's a good number to put out there and just kind of, I think it's most accurate. So anyway, that's all I got for you this week. There's probably going to try to investigate how much the heated seats and the heated wheel affect the range, because that could be part of it. But I think most of it, I think that's probably what it is, about 9% for 20 degrees. Now, on the Tesla website, there's actually they have a metric on there that basically tells you that their battery will lose 3% charge for every 20 degrees. So that's why I'm using the 20 degree figure. And so, like, you know, but of course that's a battery that has full heat and full air conditioning, I believe. It has full cooling. It has coolant, you know, all around it to keep it cool, and then it has the ability to heat up as well, so it keeps the battery happy. So I think and it's also different chemistry too. It's 18650 cells as opposed to the batteries that are in this car, which are quite a bit different. But anyway, 9% is a lot different than 3%. So the other thing that affects the battery that's kind of noticeable when it's cold out is the range, or the charge of the battery. Like, it won't charge as quickly, and it won't regen at all. Like when I'm at 4 bars versus 5 even, it's quite noticeable. But as the battery warms up just from driving the vehicle, just from discharging the battery a bit, and then if you fast charge, that also warms up the battery a little bit, and then the performance gets quite a bit better. I mean, you get the regen back and everything, and once you see about 5 bars, which is, I assume, is 50, 60 degrees or something like that. But anyway, that's what I got for you today. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. More to come.